What's up, guys? It's the Nightwing, Way of Life Esports, coming at you guys with another League of Legends video. So initially, when this popped up, I was like, what the hell? Is this actually true? I have not actually watched the video yet, so I don't know what the hell's going on. Right at the time of recording this video, before anybody says some stupid shit like content stealing and all that other nonsensical bullshit you're gonna say to me, there's no articles out about this right now, so this is all I got. So yeah, take it or leave it. But outside of that, let's start the video because I actually don't know what's going on. I just saw this right now and I got off work. I did a video for my first channel and I saw this and I was like, we gotta dive into this shit. Let's go. We all know about TL, Doublelift's issues. So let's just break it all down in this. After this is over, I'll go over all my thoughts and opinions, and I could just imagine later on, today we'll get a news article, but right now I have no news article, so, I kind of only got this. Let's go.
Hello everyone, bit of an interesting video today. We don't have Hotline League on Monday, instead we're doing it this Friday, so tune into that. But because I really want to talk about this topic with somebody, I've called up Mark after giving him a bit of a synopsis on something that I've heard.
I'm here to just be a soundboard for Travis.
Yeah,
talk.
Of course. Well, I mean, I really want to get your opinion because obviously I'm a little biased in this. Of course, this coverage brought to you by Alienware. I have heard from multiple team sources that Doublelift is up for sale and will likely be traded from Team Liquid to a different team during the break between spring and summer split. I have not asked Peter about this out of, I don't know, respect for our friendship and because I think it would get weird, but so just, take it with a grain of salt. I don't have it official from him, but I've heard it enough now that I'm pretty confident.
Travis is not a real journalist. He would never put breaking news over his friendships like a journalist should.
Yes, exactly. Yes. I mean, I'm still breaking this news, I guess, but I'm not awkwardly asking my best friend about to tell me if he's involved in this or what's going on. So I don't know. Anyway, that's where we're at. Mark, I had to tell you what it was so that you understood why I wanted to call you in the middle of the afternoon. So what was your first reaction when you heard this?
It was honestly just like, I'm not surprised. I don't know if that's me also having like not necessarily as much behind the scenes info as you, because I didn't know that the trades were potentially actively being pursued, if that's what it sounds like.
Yeah.
But I at least am connected enough behind the scenes to know that, like, yeah, things at Team Liquid have not been great. And so the idea that there was a rift potentially, if that's what it is, between Doublelift and management or his team, I don't exactly know that level, but the idea that this roster kind of boomed, specifically the Doublelift part of it, is not a shock.
I mean,
I would wonder if it is for the community as well, because I saw there's a Reddit thread today about him saying the coaches didn't want me playing Senna, and a bunch of people were on different sides, some being like, what the hell, coaches, and some people being like, what the hell, Doublelift, you actually only played like X amount of games on the champion, you looked bad on it, so like why wouldn't the coaches, if they think they need to win, which they clearly needed to win because they missed playoffs, like, so there's both sides, and it just seems obvious that they have been butting heads all split long, it appears.
Yeah, and I mean, let's be honest here. There's not a world in which they, like, I mean, I'll ask you, do you think that Peter played poorly enough this split? Obviously, it was not a great split for him, but do you think he played poorly enough that you would trade him based off of performance, right? Like,
no.
See, I'll chime in on that too. I'm willing to let a player go through even if they've had one bad split. Sneaky has had bad splits. Now, do I think that he should obviously not be on a team right now? No, I think Sneaky has had other really good splits and he should be on a team too. So that's what I'll bring that back into in the Doublelift thing, is he's had like one bad split in a very, very long time. I don't think they need to be trading Doublelift. Like, this is a clear blown overreaction because they didn't make playoffs. Like, this is literally something that they're doing as a rash decision. I really personally think, I have not seen the rest of the video yet. I 100% promise you I have not, but they really need to sit down and go, okay, what didn't work? What can we do for you? And what can you do for us to help our org obviously get back to the top? I think the worst part about this right now is overreacting because you literally had one bad split in a very long time, and Doublelift also had a really bad split after a really long time, and making these off-season decisions now is not the best way. I personally think that when teams do this, when they're always hyped up to win, and then that one split or two splits they fail, they start making roster decisions. You have to evaluate why you're making a roster decision. Are you making a roster decision based off what the coaching staff is saying, or you're making the roster decision based off the right premises of what you think is going to happen? Now, all these things translate to something different in general, but what I'm saying is, are they overreacting? This seems like an overreaction to me personally.
I mean, especially when he only has 6 months left on his contract. Like, that's what I think a lot of people don't know or might not know, and I want to give that context, is like his contract ends at the end of this year. So, like trying to do this trade with him for 6 months, it's just kind of weird.
Yeah, I mean, we'll probably get into a little bit of the business / decision-making side of it in a minute here, but just on the front of, did he play poorly enough to get traded? I don't think so. He was not in my top 3 for marksman this split, but it honestly wasn't super competitive behind Sven, and so like it wasn't like he was miles behind anyone else other than Sven, and I can't imagine that, given his pedigree and history of success, that anyone would look at this and be like, Doublelift is washed. He will never bounce back.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone would think that.
Well, I guess, do you want to tackle the theories on where he could be going first, or do you want to talk about the business stuff?
Let's get some business stuff, so this isn't like an interview of me asking, you asking me opinions, So what's some of the details you think people need to know?
Yeah, so his contract is up at the end. Like, his contract is up at the end of this year, which means that it's unlikely that anyone would be willing to pay Steve a lot of money to buy him out of the contract unless you were able to ink a new contract with him, right? Because otherwise you're paying a lot of money to Steve, and then you have to pick up Peter's contract, and you only have him for summer split. Now, obviously, there's value in that, but like, I don't know. I think. So I think wherever he goes next will not just be a 6-month stint. I think it'll be like his new home for the foreseeable future. People should know that while, theoretically Steve could trade him to any team, I think you'd corroborate this with me, is that unless like their relationship has super soured, I don't think Steve would send him to a team he does not want to go to. I don't feel like that's Steve's MO, and I've never really heard of him doing that before.
Yeah, I haven't really heard of contract hell from Steve. I would say, not that it's ever justified or whatever. I don't quite know the right word, but if Steve thinks Team Liquid sans Doublelift and whoever the replacement is, which is another conversation we'll get to, I'm sure, is a world quality roster, part of me is like, why would you sell him? Why would you trade his contract and then make someone's team way stronger? He's walking in 6 months anyways. It's not like you have him locked up for 2 years or something. So part of me, not that he would trade Peter to a crap team that Peter hates or something, but there's a ruthless side to me that would be like, no.
Yeah,
don't give him away. Just find your alternative. Don't make someone stronger. You can still push for worlds. This roster should be really good.
I mean, that's what Kelby always said, was his criticism of TSM was not only did they trade away Peter and not have him, but they gave him to somebody else who could then do very well. Now, the difference is, of course, was that Peter was in pretty much peak form when he was on TSM previously. So I don't know if, and whenever he joined TL,
let's be honest. If Peter gets traded to some team that's not great, or something, and Steve does it, he's gonna be pissed, and I'm sure he's gonna try really hard and have a great split to kind of get back the jilted lover kind of plan. But I would say that the one in TSM was also different because it was a long-term thing, and I saw they were lagging. It was a long-term thing, so it's not like you could just hold on to Doublelift in perpetuity and accept that this is your roster for all time. If you're ever going to try and make a move, he will ultimately go back into the ecosystem. This is one where you're saying, listen, it's going to happen at some point, but we can delay it 6 months during the world's push of summer. So I think it is a little different than the TSM situation, where it's not this like.
What he's saying basically is, why trade him right now when he only has 6 months left on his contract, when you could just kind of be like, okay, hey, what do you want? And we can do that for you. Or maybe it's Steve just saying, it's better if we just, part ways. You know what I mean? Like, it's like a relationship where you're thinking to yourself, hey, it's not you, it's me. But no, it's really you. Hey, let's just break up. It could be that. I mean, I don't really know. But I think it's a waste to trade him right now, personally. Only because they're right. Who's going to buy him out? And what other good team is there? Like, outside of C9... And let's just debate TSM. Let's say TSM's a good team. Why would TSM trade Kabe? He's had a pretty good split. Sven? Okay, C9 and TSM are literally off the table. Despite your feelings about TSM. They did make 4th. TL is, not in playoffs. Game. Debate over. I wouldn't go to CLG. I mean, that's just a death trap. He was on CLG before and he left. Golden Guardians, no. You know what I mean? Like, there's not a lot of Worlds caliber rosters here. And even if it's not like a full Worlds caliber roster, it's like, there's like one player, he's either like he's a coin flip player and he'll frickin', do whatever it takes to, get his team to win, but then he also looks bad. I'm just not too sure, if it's the right move to trade him right now. You know what I mean? Unless he's going to like 100 Thieves, Evil Geniuses, or now maybe FlyQuest, since they've proven that they can obviously be, a decent non-choking org. Well, this split they proved that, but in the past, they've been chokers. It's like, I don't really know, and like, FlyQuest is never going to get rid of Wild Turtle. Evil Geniuses are not moving away from Bang. And who did I say? 100 Thieves? They're not moving away from Cody-san. Like, there's not any teams to go to, really, that are decent. What does he go to, like Immortals? I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy. Like, come on. We don't have anywhere to go. It sucks. Where's it gonna go to Dignitas? They just wasted 2 million on Huni. Come on, people. I don't know, personally. So, we'll see how it goes.
Like, oh god, we can never let Doublelift go. It's just like, well, let's just, let's wait a minute. But I don't think Steve will do that, and I don't think he'll trade him to some crap team, which means the options do feel surprisingly limited.
So now that we've talked about the business side a bit and people kind of understand the stage that's been set for the transfer, is the interesting part where we speculate what team he could be going to. I feel like we should just jump to
the obvious.
The obvious, which, like, if you are Doublelift, what teams do you want to join? Because let's just assume Steve is going to trade him to a team that he wants to join.
Yeah, I'm sure Doublelift made a very short list of team he would like to play for, and said, "Steve, figure this out." What team do you think it is, Travis?
Okay, well, so let's talk about teams he could want to join: C9, EG, TSM.
Out here.
Sorry about this fucking ad, guys. I'm sorry. I'm literally sorry. Ads are stupid and retarded.
I think, I mean, EG's got second. We'll see how they do this weekend, but I think their name could be on that list. Or if you told them which teams would you be interested in joining?
Sure, I could see EG being on there. They're okay. Maybe... there's a couple. Well, so there's one X factor that I don't want to get into too quickly, but we'll get in there in a little bit. But I think C9 is out of the water on C9 side.
There's no way that he joins C9. C9 doesn't pick up Doublelift after this crazy split. You don't make it roster.
Jack has a certain culture there, and it's kind of like, hey, the management calls the shots. That's how it feels, at least, with everything we've heard about the sneaky benchings and the Jensen benchings, even the Sven one that happened at Worlds with Blabber. I could see him joining that team and doing really well. I'm not saying Doublelift couldn't work in that environment or anything, but I just think Jack has too good of a thing going right now to ever want to mix it up. on what would be a pretty risky mix-up. So C9 I would say is all out. EG is possible, though I don't think they're better than TL. So to me that would just be like, wow, he really hates his time. If he went to EG, it'd be like, wow, the time on TL was so terrible that he took
What do you mean they're not better? What if the TL got 9th place and EG got 2nd?
I mean, on paper they're not better.
Oh yeah, okay.
Like a bunch of stuff happened with TL. Part of it, which sounds like it was Doublelift's fault from everything we've heard. But assuming Doublelift gets back on form and TL turn things around, I would expect more out of them than EG going into summer. But maybe Doublelift doesn't feel that way. And then I think the obvious one's TSM for a number of reasons.
Yes. I mean, there is literally... I looked at his YouTube today and just started laughing after I'd heard this rumor. Because there is... Actually, because I uploaded a clip from our... So when I first heard the very beginning of the rumor, I was like, I need to upload this video I'd been planning on uploading for a while because I thought it was a good discussion, especially after TL flunked out, which was the call from Hotline League a couple weeks ago where somebody said TL should replace Double with Sneaky. I don't want to get into that theory, but I do... But because of that, YouTube recommended me a video that's on Doublelift's YouTube channel right now that says rejoining TSM, and it's from when he played with the 4 players from 2017 TSM. So yes, I feel like very a good chance that that's the one. Like that would be my lead candidate, as wild and wacky and kind of I have a conflict of interest, Mark. But there's definitely another one in that direction.
There's also an elephant in the room, which we haven't said yet. Are we going to address the elephant in the room, or are we just going to let it stand there?
Is that the one that I was referencing? The conflict of interest?
Well, I don't know about conflict of interest. I mean, it's somewhat of a personal... Yeah. He's dating Lena.
Right.
Yeah. I think, we all like to pretend we're super professional and these kinds of things don't influence us, but it's hard not to imagine that does influence you a little bit. I don't think Peter looks back at his time at TSM negatively either. It sounds like...
No, he softened. So you can go back and you can find an interview that I did with him where he's like, I want to make TSM suffer.
Yes.
And I want to make... It was the greatest mistake they ever made. It was like...
Like with everything with Peter, you kind of have to take it down 3 notches probably.
Well, exactly. So then like a year and a half later, it became... I feel bad kicking TSM when they're down. Like they're actually good folks. I really respected Bjergsen and Biofrost and all that stuff. And
I mean, one was more competitively driven. Like, I'm going to show you that leaving me was the worst thing you've ever done. Versus like, I actually hate this organization, which is how it always struck me. And so, I think he looks at that org pretty fondly. Like I said, I think the team should kind of like TL. I think they maybe underperformed relative to what people expected. We talked about this on the dive today. That's coming out or out before this, depending on when all this happens. Yeah. Just about, we all thought top 3 for TSM, and with TL not even making top 3, it's like, why couldn't you be better than FlyQuest in EG, really? And so Doublelift probably presents an upgrade. It's hard to say. Kabe has been very balanced and good, but not dominant at all. And maybe TSM needs a little bit more focus game plan around the bot lane. I think there was this hope that Kabe and Biofrost would kind of enhance each other's weaknesses or strengths, I guess, where like Bio's really good at laning, Kabe is fine in laning but doesn't get a ton of leads. They did get a number in the FlyQuest series, to be fair. I don't want this to turn into like a flaming Kabe segment, but I think historically Doublelift has done more than Kabe had done this split in the LCS, even though Kabe was much better this split.
So one counterpoint to him joining TSM, which is that I feel like people have kind of said this in different ways, so I don't know how controversial it is to say this, but like I now actually I'm going to do a video again like I did last year where I rank all the teams by the efficiency of their salary spends, but like TSM does not pay top salaries the way that TL, 100T did. They don't right now. EG, some of these other teams do. And so it'll be, if TSM is not willing to cough up the money, because again, we we talked about how if they want to keep him for more than just 6 months, they're going to have to re-sign him, right? So, I mean, in preparation for doing this video, I asked around, and at least one person with the know on player salaries feels like a Doublelift should be able to command like 2 million in the open market, right?
Fuck! Holy shit! Imagine paying $2 million for a player with that bad of a split. You must be out of your fucking mind. Holy shit. But I do understand, Doublelift did and has been a really good ADC. That's not what blows my mind. If he asked for $2 million after the split he just had, go home, man. You're drunk. But, okay, so let's kind of unwind from what they were talking about. So, yeah, I didn't really want to mention it either, but people don't understand. Doublelift was on TSM before. People are like, why does Doublelift like TSM so much? Go back and watch League of Legends in the past years, and you'll understand why people think this way. So, once you do that, you'll understand what I'm talking about. But for people who understand what I'm talking about, Doublelift played for TSM, peak form, they won championships. TSM has not won a championship since. Without Doublelift, he wanted to prove to TSM that obviously he could win without them. He proved that. He even got to finals of MSI, something TSM has probably and will not ever do in their organization's career. His girlfriend does work for TSM. I think she is their person who talks on Twitter or something like that. I'm not really too sure. There was something she put out where she was like, Licorice was in scouting grounds. I'm like, is Doublelift like sucking you off or something? Because Licorice was never in scouting grounds. Licorice was bought from E United from C9. How do I know that? Because I do my research. But seeing Doublelift go to TSM and then freaking TSM trading, Kabe for Doublelift, I could see that happening. I could see TL and TSM have an agreement. I get Doublelift back from you, Steve. You get Kabe. That could work, actually. You're still on a top-tier team. TSM has proven they can be a top-tier team. And that's something that can work, obviously. I could see that happening, if that was my thought process of this. Now, they're not going to pay top dollar for him right now. Why would you do that? Like, thinking about it right now, he is not worth top dollar. But future potential, yes, I could see it.
Like, if he hit free agency at the end of this year, now obviously he's coming off of a bad split and there's some drama. I don't know how that impacts it. Obviously there's like a pandemic that might be affecting what teams start paying their players, like with the economy and all that stuff. But I don't know if TSM is willing to pay 2 million. So is Doublelift willing to take less than that? I don't know.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you, and maybe this is leaning too much into your personal friendship knowledge of him. Is he the type of person to take a pay cut to do what he wants in a sense, or do what he thinks is the best for his non-financial decision making and his performance?
Money in the bank, pimping ain't easy. I think that's the quote that I'll give you, Mark. No, it's a throwback.
So he's going to
no. I think Peter would not join a very low ranked team just to super cash out, right? Like, I don't think he would join CLG with their lineup right now of 4 players, even if he was offered 2 million. You know what I mean? But do I also think that, and again, I'm not trying to go too much into my personal relationship with him, but I also don't think he's going to, accept very little just to join them, right? Mm-hmm. Like, theoretically, he could stay on TL, assuming TL's just not trying to like super give him the boot, and try to prove himself in the summer and renegotiate for a ton at the end of this. So like I don't want to say that this like TL thing, that he's off for sure, because I think the numbers are going to have to make sense for him unless TL is just really done with him. I don't know.
Yeah, I think that's kind of the big unknown for this, is like, how bad is the relationship? Is it like, I don't know what Dig and Hooney is like, but we haven't heard all split long about these problems. So like, to me, Dig and Hooney is like, okay, we're both not really happy. Let's explore.
Yeah.
Is that what this is? Or is it get me out? which it could
Right.
easily. It feels like it's a lot closer. For
Yeah,
this
we don't
one.
know if he wants out, and that's what he's saying. Although he's been vocally critical of the management and stuff. You know, in a world where he seems to be so frustrated with the coaches, and he maybe Steve says, "Hey, we're not making a coaching change for summer," or something like that. You know, maybe that's whenever he's like, "I don't, find me a trade."
Or maybe Steve is balancing between moving Doublelift and moving coaches. It could be any number of these things. I have one other idea I wanted to kick at you because I think this is what would be dope.
Fucking Fiverr. No one cares about your fucking ads. Even though I use this program. If you guys are YouTubers, this program is lit as fuck. But right now, Doublelift news.
You said not CLG, but at the same time, wouldn't it be so cool if just like they balled out for one split, they get Doublelift and then they get Hooney, and you have Pobelter, Wiggly and Smoothie are still a little, who knows, little, but I mean, Hooney made worlds with Clutch last year, and it was not like they were these complete world beaters or anything. And I know he didn't have a great split with Dignitas, but I have some faith in Hooney still. Peter's obviously going to bounce back, I think, as well. And plus, CLG needs like the hype. They need the fans. They're so, you love talking about CLG in this way. So like, wouldn't you be stoked to see Doublelift return to CLG, even if it's like a one split farewell tour to like?
So I'm fairly certain just to make that happen, CLG would need to spend just on Hooney and Peter more than any other team is spending on their entire roster right now just to acquire those two. Let me tell you about CLG though. CLG is owned by Madison Square Garden, and talking about the business stuff and the economics, Madison Square Garden, you might know, operates events and event venues. And if you are a company who operates event venues in the U.S. right now, and for instance, the LA mayor just said today that no mass gatherings probably until 2021, how likely are you to splurge on your esports team, which is like a tiny fraction of your revenue, or what? You know what I mean? It's just like, I feel like it's very unlikely that MSG is in a position right now to want to cough up, an extra couple $1 million.
Yeah. It was a dream for CLG fans to get excited about. That's not going to happen.
So what happens? So does Kabe then, you think, land on another team if Peter goes to TSM? And I know we're getting pretty far down the rabbit hole, but
CLG, yeah, Omega lol.
But given that that's our main theory,
I wouldn't. I mean, if this is what happens, then I would assume there would be a player trade straight up a little bit with whatever financial incentives need to happen to make the numbers work or whatever.
Do you think Kabe to TL?
I would think so, because I don't know, other than Sneaky potentially, who would be a good
Tactical?
fit. I mean, they could do tactical, but assuming Steve is, I don't know like how the financials of this trade work out. If Peter has guaranteed money and that then TSM has to pick up or what, but I would think Steve would. I mean, he likes making splashy moves, so I think he would at least explore getting Kabe or Sneaky in this world, and tactical would be the fallback plan. And I think you can do tactical, and like I said, Jensen, Broxa, Impact, and Core JJ, those four guys sound like a world's caliber roster, assuming tactical in the little bit that we saw can play at that level when they were winning.
That could work too. They could just straight up trade. Hey, TSM, I want Kabe. And then TL's like, okay, you can Doublelift. That could work. Sneaky going to TL. I think someone posted about this on the C9 Facebook group. I don't think he would do it personally. It's just that Sneaky fans are it's not that they're like super toxic. I get you like your favorite dude. Hey, I respect it. I don't think you want those people, because the moment you kick him, they're gonna come out in droves, and like just the mass amount of people who are gonna just start shit talking you. It's not worth it. I mean, they most likely don't care about that, which I know they don't, but I wouldn't take the risk on him just because of the fans. And also, we don't know about his worth ethic, and because we just saw Zazel in like the crackdown talking about, hey, yeah, we weren't really 2v2ing, like to get better at League. I don't know if it was scheduling conflicts with them. I wouldn't really take the risk on Sneaky right now. I personally wouldn't. But Tactical's fine too. I think Tactical's fine. Those are the only other options unless you're trying to buy out someone else, which right now with all the virus thing going on, you're probably not doing that.
I think they could make Worlds with that roster, but I think with Sneaky and Kabe, it looks a lot more likely, at least from what we know so far.
Yeah. Well, I have one final theory on this TSM thing.
Okay.
They just spent $50 million on their facility. They tweeted about this yesterday.
Yeah.
It went from 13 million, I think, in September to 50 million. I don't know. In between, 100 Thieves had a 35 million.
Sometimes 37 million just gets away from you.
Yeah. That's what happens whenever you invoice me. I'm like, I thought that this was going to be $1,300, but now it's 5,000. I don't know how that happened. So anyway, my point is, you just add a few less things to that facility, cut it down a bit, then you get Doublelift on the team. Maybe that's how they manage to
cut those personal chef's salary and give them a Doublelift.
Yes. All right. Well, anyway, thanks, Mark. Any final thoughts on all this stuff? I mean, when we drop this video, if it's not been leaked already, what do you think the community's reaction is going to be? Because I saw some people on the YouTube comments of that Sneaky Doublelift video today just saying, like, you guys are high if you think Doublelift's leaving Team Liquid.
I would say it'd be a mixture of both. Kind of like, yeah, things weren't great, but you didn't think it would end like this because you just think that they would ride it out for 6 more months and try and turn it around.
Yeah.
And I think that's a pretty easy assumption to make. Just, I don't know, maybe things were worse than we thought, between Oregon and Peter.
Well, maybe we will have more discussion about this on our live Mega Hotline League that is happening this Friday, and I just got a text.
Finals? Who cares about that?
Confirming some folks. Dash, Azale, and Freak are in. Hoping to get some more folks in, I'm going to talk to some of the teams and stuff. But we're going to have a bunch of different guests rolling through to mirror our live versions of Hotline League that we normally do at these events. So hopefully you guys can tune in for that. What?
Will we be drinking?
We can drink.
Yeah.
All right, so we pretty much got the main gist of what they're talking about. So, okay. I'm gonna go down the rabbit hole right now of 80 carries that they could get. So, I only personally think he would go to TL or, and that's a big or. You either got the playoff teams, you got Golden Guardians, and they really need an upgrade. You got 100 Thieves, Cody Sun's fine, Bang is fine. If FlyQuest get rid of Wild Turtle, that could be your ticket to go into Worlds finally. I don't think that TL would get Sneaky. I truly don't. It's not because I hate him. Why do people think I hate somebody I've literally met at the LCS and talked to him? We literally had a conversation. Fuck you if you think that. I don't think the way Steve sees Sneaky in the last 5 years that they've been competing against each other, he sees Sneaky as a player that can win him another title. That's how Steve would most likely look at it. Not from how we see it, that's how he sees it. I think it's better if TSM and TL just swap ADCs. That way, Kabe can pop off. Kabe is a pretty good ADC. He's been like the most underrated TSM member this whole split long. I think he's been at least top 3 material. So I personally think it's just better to swap. Because incorporating Sneaky into your culture is not bad. I think he's a plug-and-play player. That's fine too. But Jensen and Impact have already played with him. They know how strong he is. You know what I mean? Like, Jensen left Cloud9 for a reason when Sneaky was still there. I mean, bringing back these old players who played together before, did that work out this split? When 100 Thieves went back to Meteos, Cody Sun? That didn't work. When frickin' what's that team? God. When Immortals came back and when they got Xmithy back, that work out? Fuck no, it didn't. Or the other rosters around the world, they were like, hey, I know it sucked the first time we did this. Let's go again and do it again. TSM, when they got back Biofrost, did that work out for them? No. Like, people need to stop this. Oh, I played with him before. I like this guy. No, it's not a fucking circus. This is not like who I like better. You know what I mean? Like, this is about winning. And I think Tactical or Kabe is fine. It just depends how they approach this Sneaky situation. I'm not saying that they are. I'm just saying that that's a possibility. Would he be a bad player for TL? Not really. Because TL, with the amount of carries that they have, that really could honestly be the best thing for them. Honestly. So Kabe or Sneaky is fine. I just don't think Steve would actually get Sneaky. That's my own personal reason behind that. I just don't think he would. I think just swapping the ADCs will help. Yeah, see you guys later. Bye. Have a good day. I'm the Nightwing, and Way of Life Esports is signing out.
Hey guys, be sure to like and subscribe to the channel for more stuff.
Yeah, thank you.